Alright guys, welcome back. So we're on the yellow MR2 again, and today we're going to do the front end. So this is a 91 MR2, as most of you probably know. And the 91 MR2 is come with this front lip that it's molded to the front bumper. So it's not very aggressive, it's very tame in my opinion. However, the 93 front lip is a little bit more aggressive. It's not as crazy as the Grady style ones, which I think is a little bit too, it's just too much for me, right? I think for Resto Mod, the 93 front lip and up is much better. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna replace this 91 front lip with a 93. And this one is, it had a little, I guess it hit a curve or something in the front. So it's a little bit dented on the driver's side. So even more reason why we should replace it. Now this is Uncle Kevin's MR2. Initially he didn't want to change it. And he probably still doesn't want to change it, but I'm gonna change it. So hopefully you like it, Uncle Kevin. I think you're gonna like it. We're gonna go ahead and replace it today. In worst case, if you wanna put it back on, we can. And you'll have this piece here that you can keep, and you know, if you wanna sell the car one day in original 91 condition, you can always put it back on. But that's what we're gonna do today, guys. So this lip, I'm gonna show you right now. We got this off eBay. It's for a company based in not sponsored, but I've bought lips from them before, pretty decent quality. So let me show you what that looks like, and then we'll get on to getting this thing installed. This is what we have working with here. So there she is, the yellow MR2, looking nice. So I started to pull this front lip off. As you can see, it's detached right here already. I'll show you guys where all the screws are. But basically, this is the lip. And if you have an MR2, 91, 92, you're gonna be very familiar with this. This is the section I was mentioning. It looks like there was some type of hit, so it's a little bit dented. I'm sure with a little heat you can get that out, but you know, just gives me a reason to change it. So Uncle Kevin, this is the reason why I'm replacing your front lip, okay? All right, so what did we purchase? So let's see. Let's give you guys a little shot of the car. Still think we should change those yellow wheels, but they're staying. And then this is what we have. So this is the 93 front lip. This is a replica. Pretty good replica, as I mentioned. So that's what we're gonna put on. And as you can see, right here, a little bit more aggressive than, bring over to the 91. There you go. So it's very, in terms of width, it's shorter on this one, curves more to the bumper. This one gives a little bit more aggressive stance. And I think, I know it's gonna look better because obviously my 93 has it and my 91 I already swapped it out as well. So just bringing this one up, modernizing the car a little bit. So now we're gonna move on. We're gonna remove the old one and we're gonna start putting on the new one. The removal process is pretty straightforward. So you gotta take this panel off. It's just a couple 10mm bolts. So you just get onto the car, get your 10mm socket to wrench and just start banging away at it. And then we're gonna head underneath and let's see exactly what we gotta do to get this lip out. Now, if your car is from up north where it's rust a lot, then you might have a challenge with this. I did have that little problem when I dealt with my 91 MR2, but this one is a Florida car. So bolts are rusted, but it came out pretty good. So we got 1, 2, 3 right below the bumper there on the side. And then in the front, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, a bunch of them alongside the front here. So you just go ahead and pull these. I'm talking about these right here. All right, so just go ahead and pull these. And once you get that loose, there's also 2 on the fender liner right here. You're gonna pull those out and then this thing should drop right out. So we're gonna go ahead, pull these out, get this bumper lip off and get ready to put a new one on. The front lip out, and then you'll realize that there is a retaining bracket on the corner of the bumper right here. So this goes on top. We're gonna reuse that. There are some companies that sell kits to get these installed from a 91 to 93 because there's an additional reinforcement that runs along here, similar to this one on 93 model. Now I did it on mine, and you really don't need to invest in it. I don't think it's necessary, but and it's kind of pricey. It's over 200 bucks. So we're gonna do it without, and it was pretty sturdy. So I'll take you over to the old lip, and then we're gonna transfer some of the hardware, like these things right here. So hopefully this is a bolt-on event. So let me show you that, and then we'll just keep on moving. All right, so here we have both front lips lined up. So as you can see, the 93 in the back is a little bit bigger, and this one here in the front, which is off a 91, 92 model. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to get some of this hardware moved over. And if it doesn't work, I have some additional ones similar to this that we can use. So we'll get those moved over onto this one, because the new lip does not come with any hardware per se that's gonna work very well with this install. It comes with these things right here, and I believe there are more to get the fender liners lined up, but as we go through the process, we'll see here. So this is what we have, and now we're gonna get the new one put on. All the hardware is transferred over, so I took these right here and I basically transferred them over to here on the new lip, and then on this one transferred it from here. This one doesn't look like we're gonna need to use it. There's a section here, but I don't think when we put the plastics on we'll see. But either way, it's a different shape, and normally they have to modify these things from OEM, I guess, for whatever rights or whatever, so they don't copyright. So as you transfer them over, and then you get under the car, and pretty much the hardware remains the same. Everything seems to be lining up. You basically just take the lip, put it back up, and bolt everything, and should line up pretty good. So we'll see right now what that looks like. Looking good. So here we have the 93 front lip. As you guys can see, it's much different. You actually see a lip on this one. The other one is just a little line, so you'd see. There you go. Fitment was perfect so far. So lined up very nicely here, all around. I think it really does well for this car, especially being yellow. You know, there's so much yellow going on, so the more black you can see just kind of helps to break up that color. So it definitely looks more aggressive. I'm gonna get it out in the sunlight, because with the garage door being black and white, it's kind of hard to see. But looking good. I'm so happy so far. All right, so we got that one out. We did transfer some of the hardware. I moved over most of the hardware. You're probably gonna have to play a little bit with it. I'll show you right now. We're gonna get that cover on. We'll see how well that lines up. But let's see. Let me show you underneath. So basically, I didn't use these. I didn't really use those. I took them off, and I just used the silver harness adapters. I used those and just bolted them up to the bumper. So right on the front, the sides line up perfectly. That just fits exactly with the factory hardware. Sorry guys, it's under the car here. This one I had to use send the bolt through and then put a nut on it. And as you can see, one's in the corner. Those just lined up perfectly with the factory hardware. Okay. So pretty easy upgrade to do. All right, so now we're gonna get the cover on, and sure, probably won't line up perfectly, but we'll see how it works out. And just like that, we're done. It wasn't such a painful install. It was actually pretty easy. The hardest part is just working under the car. My neck is stiff from just working under this car with a low ground clearance. But everything is installed. I got the cover on. Now the cover under the bottom, it was kind of beat up anyway, so we had to use a couple of zip ties. That's how I took it off. I had to use a couple of these zip ties to get it back on. But all in all, it fit back pretty decent, as you can see. So that's pretty much a wrap in terms of exterior modifications and just general maintenance that we're gonna do. The only thing left for me to do right now is to take it outside, check it out. I did try to level the coilovers. I think I got the rear pretty good, so I'll check the front. And then we're gonna put a nice polish on this thing. And hopefully everything is great, and we give it back to Uncle Kevin, and we'll see what other MR2 adventures come up along the way. But you know, it's bittersweet. I kind of enjoyed this. There were some challenging times with the whole, you know, refreshing of this car, but all in all, it came together, and I think that front end looks pretty good. But let's get it on the ground and see what it looks like. Now here's the money shot. Look at these cars, looking good. There's the 93 lip. That's the original 93 lip that I have on my 93. And we just brought the 91 up to spec, modernizing it. But look at those cars. They got the MR2, we got the Subi, we got the yellow MR2. Hey, it's a good Sunday. She's back on the ground. I'm looking at it from the side. It looks pretty good. And Uncle Kevin, look, even for you, just for you, I got a yellow stop just to match your yellow car. So that's gonna be a wrap, guys. We're gonna take the MR2 outside, see what it looks like on the ground, like, you know, outside of the garage. But I think it's gonna look pretty sweet. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. Let's see what this car looks like in the sunlight.